Okay, continuing on with our series on learning in business schools, we're addressing what is experiential learning, or what role does experiential learning play as a part of the business school learning process. Okay, in previous videos we dealt with professors, school structure, and other students as factors affecting the learning process. Okay, so to jump into experiential learning, what is it? Well, as the name implies, it's learning through experience, right? So business schools are primarily focused on teaching through practice exercises or case studies. As a matter of fact, the case method has pretty well taken over or dominated most aspects of business school education these days because of the component of real life scenarios being the best model for teaching students to deal with similar or related or even highly different problems that they'll face in the workforce or work environment in the future. Okay, so that's an element of experiential learning, the practice exercise and the case-based learning. Of course, the extent to which it's experimental is based upon the classroom technique used, of course, but once again, oftentimes business schools will bring in outside companies with real world experiences, for real world experience, but with real world problems or situations that the students will work on or in order to once again learn from the experience of working towards solving the problems or issues faced by the company. Okay, next would be active research projects. Lots of times classes are oriented towards that, or students will just pair up in directed studies with professors to undertake directed research projects, and students become highly informed about whatever research area they're undertaking. In some cases, they may become true experts in that field just through diligent effort to learn everything possible about whatever it is they're researching. So, but that is because it's once again a professional activity, a hands-on activity taken by the student to learn through experience, through what comes about as part of the process. It's again part of experiential learning. Okay, team-based projects in the same way. The fact that most business schools have individual work and then they have similar teamwork that tends to be more complicated or developed that you have to work on in teams, that's experiential learning. Even if the problems that you're doing or whatever you're working on is contrived, it's not an experiential type of aspect, the fact of putting you in a work team to work together is so closely related to what you have to do in the post-graduation career world, it again can be considered experiential learning, just that team aspect associated with group projects or work. Okay, business simulations, as we know, are a big part of business schools now. Large universities and some private organizations put together major, amazing simulations that mimic real life, real world scenarios within a business, and students react to those accordingly as part of the game, as part of the simulation. So gamification of the learning process is highly related to experiential learning, right? And then the way you learn through simply experience something rather than rote memorization or just working through problems, right? So another thing is business competitions. Okay, students oftentimes create their own business venture or work on business ventures of others or work on specific aspects of it like marketing campaigns or a venture capital contest or something like that as part of the competition. Well, that is highly related to a real world outside of the school function. So once again, experiential learning, and oftentimes the projects, the competitions that they undertake are real world. There are investors there. These are projects where companies are looking for a marketing plan for a product or something of that nature. Okay. So another thing you'll see is particularly with student ventures that they create themselves, accelerators and incubators within schools, and just coaching services within the schools to help students build their own business in the school. And the reason schools offer those is, yes, they want their students to be successful in whatever they do, but again, it's part of the learning process. It makes the academic aspect, the classroom portion, more engaging. The students have greater buy-in into the whole university or school process, that type of thing. So facilitating the student building their own venture. Okay, and then perhaps the single most important thing you can do in business school in terms of career development is internship. All right, and cooperatives are similar. You don't find many cooperatives in business schools. They're more for like engineering programs or some other highly technical related programs where you put a semester on, semester off, and the semester off is within the work environment to learn type scenario. You don't see much of that in business school. I've never really come across it, but the internship is the closest equivalent, right? And we have a whole video series on internships and their value and hiring within mid-size or small, mid-size, and large firms, and how the role of the internship that it plays in there. So if you have a chance, take a look at those videos on internships and hiring in small, medium, and mid-size firms to learn more about that. And then there's studies abroad. Okay, studies abroad is exposure outside of your native land. Okay, so again, you're going to see cultural aspects, you're going to see language aspects, you're going to see content that you probably would not see in your home institution, things like that. So once again, that is highly and closely related to experiential learning. We have other material on studies abroad and foreign experience, so take a look at that when you have the opportunity. But taken together, all of this makes up what is experiential learning and the advantage that you get from or through experiential learning in business school.